Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to install and run Oracle's VirtualBox. VirtualBox is free open source software that lets you create your own virtual machines. Think of a virtual machine as a computer within a computer. It runs on your existing system, which we call the host. Why would you want to use one? Well, virtual machines are great if you want to try out different operating systems like an older version of Windows or even experiment with Linux. So let's get started by downloading VirtualBox. Let's type VirtualBox. Click on the first link. On this web page, let's click on the download button. Here you can choose the operating system you have in your computer. I'm running a Windows PC, so I'll select Windows Host. However, you can also install this on Mac, Linux, or other platforms as well. I will click on Windows and the download starts. Once you finish downloading, let's move on to the installation. Click Next. I accept. Click Next. On this screen, you can choose which features you want to install. I'll stick with the default options. Then click Next. Here we got a warning the installer will temporarily disconnect us from the network. Click Yes to continue. Click Next again. Click Next. Finally, click Install. The setup will now go through the VirtualBox installation process. Click Finish. Now that VirtualBox is installed, the next step is to get an ISO file for the operating system you want to run in your virtual machine. An ISO is basically a complete package of operating system bundled into a single file that can be used for installation. Since we're setting up Windows, we will need to get the Windows Enterprise ISO from Microsoft website. Once it's downloaded, we can use it to install Windows inside VirtualBox. Type Windows 10 Enterprise ISO Evaluation. Click the first link. Here, download the ISO Enterprise. On this page, you'll have to complete this form and then click on the download button. After clicking the download button, click here. We want the 64-bit edition. And the download starts. Once you've downloaded your ISO image, open VirtualBox Manager. This is where we'll create, configure, and manage all of your virtual machines. On the left-hand side, you will see a list of existing virtual machines. Since we haven't created one yet, the list is empty. To start, click New at the top. This opens a dialog that will guide us through creating our new virtual machine. First, give your virtual machine a name. I'll call mine Win10. By default, it will be saved in this folder. Then, find and select the window ISO file you downloaded. VirtualBox will automatically recognize it as Microsoft Windows and pick the right version, Windows 10. If everything looks correct, click Next to continue. On the next screen, you can set your user credentials to log into your virtual machine by creating a username and a password. Write down your password. Make sure to remember your password. At the bottom, you will see an option for guest additions. Enabling this improves performance and usability, so I recommend turning it on. Then click Next. On this screen, you can specify the hardware for the virtual machine, including the amount of RAM and the number of processors. For this setup, I'll allocate 8 GB of RAM like this, and 2 CPU to speed up the installation process. Keep in mind that the resources allocated to the virtual machine are taken from your main computer, so make sure not to over-allocate. Here, you can specify how much hard disk space you want to allocate to your virtual machine. I'll stick with the dynamic option. You can always adjust these settings later, and I'll show you how once the installation is complete. Once you're done, click Next. Finally, you will see a summary of all your settings. Click Finish, and VirtualBox will power up your new Windows virtual machine. It will now start installing Windows, and once it's finished, your virtual machine will be ready to use. The virtual machine is now powered up and is running through the installation of the operating system. Once the installation is complete, we can log in. Now we have our VirtualBox ready with Windows also. Here we can change the settings. We are going to reduce the RAM to 4. And also we are going to make the CPU 1. Click OK. VirtualBox is backed with features, giving you tons of control and capabilities to explore. Hopefully this gives you a solid starting point to get your virtual machine up and running. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.